NVIDIA and AMD are the two biggest players right now in AI chips. But here's the kicker. One of these companies is 20 times more profitable than the other, and yet the underdog might actually have the bigger upside. In this video, I'm going to be doing a deep dive into NVIDIA and AMD, their growth, their margins, their government risks, and the signals I see that Wall Street might be missing. By the end of the video, you'll know which stock I think is the safer bet and which could deliver the bigger upside tomorrow. My name is Rick Orford. I've been trading since 1999, and no, I'm not a financial advisor, which means I'm not here to sell you some glossy brochure promising safe retirement income. I don't do hype. I break down the numbers so retail investors can make smarter, more confident decisions. All right, so let's get into it. NVIDIA, by any metric, is the clear leader in accelerated computing and artificial intelligence. The company is best known for its graphics processing units, GPUs, and it's built a platform that powers everything from video games to the world's most advanced AI models. But here's the twist. NVIDIA isn't just about making GPUs anymore. It's becoming the backbone of the entire AI economy. Its CUDA software ecosystem, for example. It's the backbone of AI development, while its H100 and H200 chips dominate large language model training. So, if you happen to be training a cutting-edge AI model today, odds are you'll be using NVIDIA's hardware. I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. And you all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with The Motley Fool to bring you 10 stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor has beaten the market by almost 6 times. Go to fool.com/ricko to get your 10 stock picks right now. Now, it's not often mentioned, but NVIDIA also invests in networking with its Spectrum X platform and even quantum computing. That means NVIDIA's moat isn't just wide, but it's also layered. AMD, or Advanced Micro Devices, competes with NVIDIA in many of the same markets, but with a different angle. Think of AMD as that scrappy rival, always coming in cheaper and leaner. For context, AMD's makes CPUs like Ryzen for personal computers, EPYC processors for servers, and Instinct accelerators such as the MI300X and MI308, which are starting to measure up against NVIDIA in AI workloads. AMD has also built its reputation on delivering strong price performance, winning design in game consoles, data centers, and now AI. On the horizon, AMD is betting big on its MI400 architecture that's expected by 2026 to close the performance gap in AI compute. So you could say NVIDIA owns the high ground, but AMD, they're climbing fast. Now, NVIDIA and AMD are fighting for a share in GPUs and AI accelerators, and both depend on US export approvals to sell the chips into China. But the way they scale is very different. NVIDIA dominates in both revenue and market share, while AMD is the challenger with a significant potential. And that's where things start to get interesting. One giant with scale and one challenger with momentum. And as they say, here's where the rubber meets the road. The numbers. Let's start with AMD. The company reported sales of $7.7 billion, up 31.7% year over year. Its net income came in at $872 million, jumping nearly 230%. Breaking down the segments, its data center business was up 14.3%, client and gaming jumped almost 70%, while its embedded products slipped 4.3%. And that's impressive growth. But remember, it's growth off a smaller base. NVIDIA, on the other hand, while their sales are up a massive 69.2% from the same quarter last year to $44.1 billion, and its net income rose 26.2% to $18.8 billion. So with all of that, you might be wondering, Who's leading? Well, on revenue growth, NVIDIA wins. But AMD's net income is up almost 230%, which is very, very impressive. But looking closer, the competition is not even close. NVIDIA has 6 times higher revenue and 20 times higher net income. So in raw financial firepower, AMD is showing great momentum, but NVIDIA is clearly still the heavy favorite in the industry. Now, let's pull back the curtain. How do these companies actually make money? Okay, so NVIDIA makes money by selling GPUs, and those chips are what power AI, gaming, and data centers. The company also sells the software and networking tools that go along with its system. Once customers start building on NVIDIA's CUDA platform, they tend to stick because everything from code to infrastructure is already in place. And that's what makes NVIDIA's revenue so sticky and why it thrives. It's classic lock-in, right? Once you're in the ecosystem, the switching costs are massive. AMD, on the other hand, makes its money mostly by selling chips like Ryzen CPUs for PCs, EPYC for servers, and Instinct accelerators for AI. Its model is much more straightforward. Offers strong performance at a lower price to win over customers. Think of it as competing on price to performance rather than ecosystem lock-in. So yeah, NVIDIA sells the whole package, including the hardware plus the ecosystem around it. And AMD, well, they sell powerful chips at competitive prices, winning customers slowly but steadily. Now, here's the part that investors really need to care about, and that's margins. So with AMD growing fast and NVIDIA operating on a much bigger scale, the real story and what investors need to know shows up when we shift from revenue to profit. Put simply, for every dollar that NVIDIA makes in sales, it keeps more than 50 cents as profit. For a company of this size, that's straight up impressive, right? AMD, on the other hand, their margins are only 6%. And a 230% net income jump year over year is a head turner, but is still way thinner than NVIDIA. And that's the gap. Consistency versus volatility. From what I can see, investors right now are paying up for NVIDIA's consistency and margins, while AMD is still proving that it can scale its profit as it expands. And here's the wild card that could flip the entire script today, and that's government policy. Last quarter, AMD and NVIDIA delivered growth without a single sale of AI chips in China. In AMD's latest earnings announcement, its management didn't even give any guidance on China, even though licenses, they're said to be coming possible. It was previously determined that the missed opportunity of sales in China was estimated to be around $800 million. Now, both companies are said to have a green light for exporting once again. And they may already be exporting, we just don't know it yet. But the catch? Both AMD and NVIDIA have reportedly agreed to a 15% revenue share with the US government on AI chip sales, which is sort of a policy tax that will certainly eat into each of the company's margins if the pricing can't offset it. Now, for NVIDIA, its exposure is even bigger. China used to be a double-digit billion market for NVIDIA. The company is said to be resuming shipments under the current rules for its H20 chip, a lower spec version designed to comply with export limits. But that reopens demand, right? Because with the constraints, the market is looking for a stronger chip, which competitors could soon fill. And like AMD, NVIDIA is also subject to the 15% revenue share rule, which turns every China sale into a margin contraction. For a company with such a slim margin like AMD, I can only see one way out, and that's increasing costs. So the question becomes, who can absorb that policy tax without impacting the bottom line so much? Well, this is where strategy takes over from numbers. NVIDIA, to me, their path is clear. The company is doubling down on dominance with new chips and full-stack infrastructure. For NVIDIA, I think it's looking good in China, again, as its set to regain market share with their H20 chip already under export rules, and they're already working on a new Blackwell-based chip to keep that demand alive. NVIDIA is also rumored to be working on a newer, faster chip for China called the B30A. And this could be a game changer for NVIDIA, especially if they're able to get that one approved. Looking ahead, NVIDIA's roadmap, it seems stacked. Blackwell, Rubin, Feynman, each promising big leaps in AI performance. On the other hand, AMD's path is quite different. I see their growth as being dependent on China, and licenses could unlock billions in new sales at the very least, but we're going to have to wait and see. Also, the MI350 is shipping now, and the MI400 is set to be due in 2026 with major performance gains. Plus, they're moving into full systems with Helios infrastructure. So here's the cliffhanger. NVIDIA is building an empire, and AMD is chasing opportunity. The only question that could be thrown to both companies is, can they deliver on those promises? So with that, let's wrap this up. How should investors play this? The way I see it, NVIDIA is the safer bet today, and AMD is a potential upside story tomorrow. If you're looking for a proven company with big margins, NVIDIA is the best bet. But if you're looking for a stock with a higher potential for growth, AMD looks like it has a lot going for it too. But what about you? Are you buying into either one of these companies, and why? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, if you found this video helpful, please do consider giving it a like and subscribe to the channel so others will find it as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.